Well, how's it going, lads and lassies? How you doing there, pipe pals and gals? Let me get my Robert Burns Macaulay pipe. Let me get the fire in the old firebox going there. Okay. Yep. All right. Well, good evening to you all. Holy Smoking Pipe Padre coming back at you after maybe a week or so. And tonight I'm smoking again my Robert Burns Macaulay Halloweeny pipe, or my October pipe. Because don't you know, it is the appropriate time to be smoking an October pipe. Now I'm filming this and with my new Apple iPhone 8 Plus, and I think I'm smoking. There we go again. Filming in 4K, 24 frames a second, which is supposed to be like the cinematic version. So anyway, I don't know if this is even going to work or not. So anyway, here we go. This is TSC, I think week 6 was it last week? So let's roll that video now. Okay there, sports fans, pipe pals. Old Holy Smoking Pipe Padre here. Okay, back from week 6 of this week's 3-mile challenge run. And you're not going to believe this time here. Look at that. Look at that. Oops. Can you see that? Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that or not. See, where's the camera? Okay. See if you can see the camera. All right. Okay. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that was my time. Maybe I'll just take a quick picture of that. Hold on a second. Well, I'll take a picture later. But anyway, that was my time. 33:04. 33:04. Whew. Okay. And last week it was 36:17 or something like that. It might have even been like 36:47 or something. Now, again, somebody's going to say, wait a minute. The math on that just doesn't make sense. How can you take almost 3 full minutes off of a 3-mile run time? And, well, okay, this week I did it for the very first time. A couple weeks ago, I ran the first mile non-stop before I did the interval run. I still did an interval run today. Is the camera right to there? Yeah, camera's right there. So I still did an interval run. I think I walked a total of 3 times for about maybe 45 seconds each, maybe 40 seconds. But I just kept saying, okay, get enough to get enough of a second wind and just keep on going. So about 2 weeks ago, I did 1 mile, and then I did the interval run. And I have my my Apple Watch with me and my Apple iPhone 7. It's a little smaller one. I just got this new iPhone 8 Plus, and it's a little bit bigger, and it bounces around a lot more in my pocket. So I just don't like that. So I just got the new Apple Watch. And this has the LTE, and so I can listen to music. I can't get my run app on there, but that's okay, because I decided I'll just, every other street I would walk a little bit, and then I'd run the next street. So that seemed to work out pretty good too. Good, it was still interval. So anyway, but I ran 1.5 miles all the way out to the turnaround point, ran that, and then I ran a little bit more than that. And then I did about my first 40-second walk, brisk walk, and then I just started it again. So that's basically how I'm doing it. I'm just basically cutting down on the actual walking portion and increasing the running. That's all it is. So it's no big, secret, obviously. But anyway, you can gain some progress week after week if you do it incrementally like that. So, and then last week I was really, I was feeling sick, just absolutely sick, and I had some kind of a bruise on my shin or something. It was hurting. Don't know what was going on there. It's gone now. So I really had to force myself just to do it. and I was glad I did. But this week I was feeling pretty good. The weather's just absolutely gorgeous out here. I'm going to show you the property here. We got some trees falling down in the background over there. But basically, by and large, it's just a gorgeous autumnal day to be out running the 3-mile challenge. TSC, Heart of a Champion, make it happen. Okay, I'm back. Well, hopefully those of you who are following my progress on the TSC Transformation Super Challenge will be interested to know my last week's results, which weren't bad. So we'll have to see how I do tomorrow. I have to be honest. I've kind of hit a little bit of a plateau. Not a left toe or a right toe, but a plateau. And I kind of started giving myself permission to have some carbohydrate treats. And it's my fault. It's something that I do. I go off the wagon even during this challenge. Although I did run today and I've done all the workouts, but it's shooting myself in the foot, and I know it. But I get discouraged because I don't see any real progress. I hit a plateau and I just don't go anywhere. And sometimes this time of year, when it gets a little colder and the winds out, we're kind of expecting possibly a little bit of rain tonight and tomorrow. Hopefully it will do that. Hopefully the rain will show up. That'd be nice. Oh, by the way, I got my treat there, my autumnal coffee. My, that's good. Especially with some plum cake. I forgot to tell you that I'm doing plum cake tonight. So anyway, life's going pretty good. I have to apologize to those of you who sent me some messages. I noticed that some of you had sent, I had like 13 or 14 unread messages the other day, and I was just kind of going through and looking at the account. So I have to go back tonight, hopefully, and upload this and check those messages. So hopefully, if you were waiting for me to respond, I will respond soon, okay? Got an interesting card from the one and the only, the inimitable Gap. That's Gary Portier, for all you Canadians out there, you Canucks. And Gary likes to make his own Christmas cards. I don't know if this is a Gary Christmas card, but anyway. And then I got this in the mail yesterday, and I thought I'd open it up and see what we shall see, Mr. Frodo. So there we are. I'm going to open it. I'm doing a little box opening. This looks like oh, okay. And thank you, Gary. I don't know if this is music or a DVD of The Passion. I think this is looks like it's the DVD music. Yeah, songs. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. There's a little note in here. Nope. Just a little gift from Gary. Thank you, Gary, the gentleman scholar. And so it was nice of him to be very, very thoughtful person, I have to say. One of our august members of the YouTube pipe community. I always give Gary a hard time because I always call him my favorite Canadian, but he's actually doesn't really live in Canada, but he's pretty darn close. So I don't know. There's something Canadian about him. In fact, I think most YouTube pipe presenters or pipe people are Canadians, with a few exceptions of us people in California. You know, that starts with a C as well. So I guess that counts for something, right? So C for Canada, California, kind of the same thing in some ways. Okay, so, well, It's been, well, it's hard to say because I can't remember when I really made a video other than just kind of doing an update kind of thing. Um, wow. A lot of tragic things have happened in the last, 3 or 4 weeks. The Vegas tragedy, that was terrible. And now I guess, let's see, and then the Harvey Weinstein scandal. Oh, here's my question to you out there in YouTube land, in YouTube pipeland. So tell me, what's the difference between Harvey Weinstein and Hugh Hefner? I mean, come on. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to somebody who just recently passed. May God have mercy on his soul and all of our souls. But, come on. The Hef was a guy who manipulated women, and I'm sure he had his own way of, again, forcing himself either through his power of his great Playboy franchise and getting women to sleep with him. Okay, he was notorious for probably having a new girl in his bed every night, at least when he was able to do all those things. And again, like I said, I'm not here to judge the man or whatever, but it just seems like, I guess what I'm responding to is the double standard. It's like, well, it's like, I guess, no, let's be honest. Now, Harvey Weinstein is kind of the guy you probably would want to put a bag over his head. He's so ugly, okay? And the only way, I guess, he could get women is by using his power and influence to have them sleep with him. So he's obviously a very crude individual, disgusting person from all accounts. But anyway, it just seems like there was kind of a bit of a double standard there. It's like one guy gets a free pass and another guy is getting his just desserts, as he should. But anyway, it's just something I thought about. Anyway, like I said, so we had the horrible tragedy, the shootings in Vegas, the Harvey Weinstein thing. Then we had all the fires here in Northern California. In fact, the little place I used to live for a number of years came very close to being incinerated. Thanks be to God. It was the last minute. I was told by the owner just a week ago that the winds actually literally changed course as they were coming up the backside, getting ready to engulf the house and the winery and everything. The last minute they changed direction. The wind came and blew them back out to sea or whatever, back the other way, and spared the property. So, but still, it was, but so many other people lost their homes, lost not just their homes, they lost their lives, and some of them literally lost their lives. So it's terrible. So, it's just, it's just kind of hard to find anything good at this point to say, and now we've got another Trump scandal. Supposedly he said something insensitive to a wife of a soldier who died. And again, right now I got to be honest and tell you that I just don't delve into a lot of these things like I used to. I can't keep up. I just can't keep up with all the latest scandals and calamities and problems. I mean, except for the really big ones. But every week, almost every day, it seems like there's a new President Trump scandal. And to some extent, I got to be honest and say that it's pretty much driven by the media's contempt and hate for the man. And if somehow the media could actually try to be more objective and become more news reporting instead of editorializing, maybe, just maybe, maybe some of the uproar would kind of die down. Of course, that's the point. They don't want the uproar to die down. They want to keep forcing, whether it's Russian collusion, and maybe possibly, perhaps, all these speculations abound, and yet there doesn't seem to be. It's just all smoke and mirrors, and it's just. In fact, some of the news people said a couple of months ago that they didn't even have anything. They were just kind of, possibly keeping a story open, maybe, possibly, whatever, perhaps, maybe, there's nothing really there. So, but what's really at the heart of all this is just good old-fashioned hatred, and it's just not a way to run a country, a business. You've got to get beyond that. There's got to be a point where you say enough's enough. Whether you hate the guy, you loathe the guy, you don't care about the guy. You know what? There's more stuff to this world that's more important, I think. And to allow hatred of an individual to just literally rent space in your head and maybe your soul, it's just not good. There's more to life than hating Donald Trump. That's all I can say. And unfortunately, it's just our country is so polarized that nothing good can get done at all. And there are just a lot of people that are angry, and I think they have whether it's the DACA people, the Dreamer peoples, there's just so many problems, and people are, longing to just blame somebody for their problems. And right now, the Trumpsters, the kind of the pin the tail on the donkey, and whack him like a piñata, and I don't know what it's going to produce. I mean, to be honest, I don't think the guy is going to, unless he's truly done something horrendous as far as whether there's real Russian collusion. I think you're better off just having a Moscow mule, or that's about the best you're going to get out of this whole deal, and just let it go at that, because I just think it's a lot of smoke and mirrors, and we're wasting a lot of time, and I just think that there's just better things to do with our lives. I have a lot of things that I am interested in, and I have a lot of other things that I'm also, responsible for. And if I had to constantly be worrying about what happens with the 45th president of the United States all the time, it just doesn't seem to be that productive, I guess. And I just think that if people could kind of get beyond their hatred and their anger, and try to deal with it in a positive way, instead of always being, constantly eating this angry, political diet. It's like, gosh, you got to get beyond all this, and move on. At least focus on your family. Focus on your faith. If you have faith, focus on just helping other people, just being a decent person, and not being so consumed by anger and hate, because that's all I see that's happening is people are having a hate-feeding frenzy because of Donald Trump, and whether you like him or you loathe him, I guess I learned this a long time ago, and I learned it because I realized that politics is not the answer. It just isn't. Now, some people think that the government's going to take care of them all the time, and so if you're somebody who is waiting for a government check all the time, and you're dependent upon that. Now, again, some people have legitimate needs, and I'm not against true people in need getting assistance? Not at all. That's what it's there for. But I know a lot of people who who are able-bodied. A lot of people don't realize to be able-bodied is a really good thing. If you can walk and you can move and you can run or walk and you can live a normal life physically, because there are a lot of people that can't do that, and that's sad because they made bad health choices. Maybe they got into an accident. I see even a couple of young guys in the little power chairs, and they got a leg blown off. Obviously, they're in their 20s. I know where they've been, okay? I would guess my first guess would be Afghanistan or Iraq or someplace, and, they're a wounded warrior. And by golly, God bless them and God help them. But a lot of people, there are just a lot of people that kind of want their hand out. And I just think that some of them have to kind of grow up, and some of them have to realize that the government doesn't owe you anything. You don't have anything. If a lot of people want free college. A lot of the millennials out there, they want free college. Free college, what's that? I didn't get free college. I had to work. I got the GI Bill, but again, that's after 4 years of being in the United States Marine Corps, and I'm grateful for that. But I still had to work. It wasn't easy. So there are programs, there are grants. You can get student loans. But you know what? If you're going to expect somebody to give you something for nothing, the other people that want to, if you want to be a U.S. citizen, I embrace you. I think that's fantastic. That's wonderful. But a lot of people today, they don't want to be U.S. citizens. They just want to live in this country. And that's the problem. If I wanted to go to another country, I would have to immigrate. Okay, and I have to go through their immigration process. If I wanted to be a citizen, let's say I wanted to go to Scotland. Let's say I wanted to be a citizen of the UK. I'd have to go through that process, and I'd have to follow the procedures to become a naturalized citizen of that country. And I'd expect nothing less. But again, to go to another country and just live there, why would I want to do that? If I had family, I could understand wanting to be with my family, certainly, but I'd also want to be within the rules of that country so that I could enjoy the benefits of being a citizen. I wouldn't have to be looking over my shoulder, worrying about somebody coming and finding out that I was there illegally. That wouldn't be something I would like. I would want to be a legal person. I'd want to be somebody that was a citizen of that country. I could say, yes, I'm a true Scot. Or I'm a citizen of Scotland or whatever. I'd love to be able to do that. But I would go through that process, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. Now, again, I don't know if that's even possible. I'm way too old to probably immigrate to some other place now, and there's no reason for me to do that. But I'm just saying that it would be, if I wanted to live in another country, I would probably say, yeah, I'd like to. I'd like to be a citizen of this country. And that's just the way it would be, whether it was Scotland or, say, Germany or Italy or France or whatever, Poland, So anyway, all I'm just saying is that I would expect to try to follow the laws of that country and become a citizen. That's all. I don't see what the problem is. But a lot of people here want to, say that, they don't care about these laws. They don't apply to them. They're not illegal. Well, they are illegal, and unfortunately, until they decide to, make a change to do something, I think we need to be helping these people the best we can to become naturalized citizens. I think that's the most compassionate, honest, truly loving thing to do, to help them, not to, quote unquote, hide them so they're not being deported and that type of a thing. That doesn't help them. Because eventually they're going to be, if they get into trouble one way or another, let's say somebody doesn't like them, okay? A neighbor has a grudge against them. All they got to do is pick up a phone, okay? They're in trouble. Okay, that's not, say the big bad meanies coming after to get you because they don't like you, but again, they're in violation of the laws of this country. and you open yourself up. You become very vulnerable. So what I would say is, apply for U.S. citizenship, get a green card, whatever it is that you need to do to be here legally, and work that process. And some people say, well, yeah, but it takes years. Yeah, well, okay. Yeah, I guess it would. You've got to prove yourself as a responsible person. As somebody who doesn't get in trouble with the law, somebody that has a job, somebody that is a productive member of society. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? So we've kind of taken, we have a false sense, I think, of compassion. And unfortunately, a lot of people subscribe to, we need to just be open bordered and we need to just let anybody in that wants to come in. And well, that's not a way to run a country, I guess. That's all I can say. But anyway, those are things that, I guess they're in the news a lot. They're constantly, it's like a wound, it's like a scab on your arm, and it keeps getting picked at, and it never heals because all you do is you're just opening it up all the time, and that's the problem right now as I see it, and there are things that would be wonderful to be able to just enjoy and talk about and share good positive things as opposed to negative, ugly, heartbreaking things. But unfortunately, we live in a world right now, sad to say, that is just a very angry place to live. And God save us, God preserve us, that some mad guy in Korea doesn't decide he wants to lob a nuclear warhead at the west coast of the United States, because that could mess up everybody's day, let me tell you. Anyway, like I said, I personally would like to talk about, my love of Apple products and talk about, how this helps me in my ministry, helps me in my personal life. Today, for example, I just visited somebody, giving them the final blessing before they leave this world, this life. And so after that, I went and I got I got this little Starbucks here. I've recharged it since then, but I got this. And all of a sudden, I get a little ding on my Apple Watch, new Series 3 there. And I was just sitting there, and I just gotten back to my truck and sat down, and they went ding, and it was a message saying there's somebody else that was dying, and could I go and visit them? And it turned out that because I was kind of like about 6-7 miles away from the rectory, and when the watch alerted me, it gave me the address, and the address was like a mile away. Actually, it was just about a mile away. And I mean, it was like okay, I got the address, plugged it in, and I was there in 5 minutes. The lady who said, I'm so surprised. We just called like 10 minutes ago, and you just showed up. And I get that a lot when people are in their last stages of life, and because of the technology, I don't have to come all the way back as I used to do in the old days. I'd go to someone's house or go to the hospital, and then I'd come back, and then I'd say, oh, we have another person, and they're over here, whatever. So, this device it paid for itself today, I believe, and that's just the first of many instances where, I'll be on the road or I'll be far away, and all of a sudden I get notified, a little text message saying, hey, can you go anoint somebody, or can you go visit this person now? And I just think that's awesome. I think that's great. So it saves time, because a couple of these people, they didn't have a lot of time left. And literally, we're talking at the best, maybe an hour, 2 minutes. One person, I think, was just within an hour, minutes from passing. So sometimes it's important to be able to respond as quickly as possible. And so, again, some of these gadgets, you might think they're a little extravagant, or, why am I spending, quote unquote, all my money on these extravagant things when I could be giving it to the poor? And, all I can say is that, well, you don't see other things that I am able to do for others. And so, again, if I guess I was spending all my time and money on Apple products, I guess, and just, being selfish about it, then I would say, yeah, you're probably right. But to know that I'm using these in many other ways is like, well, okay, this is all you see is the fun side of my life, my hobby side, and that's okay. But there's a lot more to it than just indulging in things that seem to be kind of extravagant for me or whatever, or anybody, I guess. But again, these are tools, and they are very useful and very helpful, not just to me. I mean, they help me to help other people. So there you go. But the reason why I say all that is because is again, I would like to be able to spend more time talking about positive things as opposed to negative things or depressing things that seem to be occurring in the world and in the news a lot. I mean, there was a time when, you could kind of, not have to worry about, I'm not saying not worry, but you could kind of, I mean, like I said one time a couple weeks ago, I grew up and we had tragedies. We certainly had tragedies. The assassination of President Kennedy was one. Martin Luther King was another. Bobby Kennedy, the moon, Apollo 1, fire. We had, when I was a kid growing up back in the 50s and 60s and 70s, we had problems. There were certainly that, but not every week. It seems like every single week we've got some new horrendous problem. Some horrible catastrophe of hurricanes, fires, shootings. It just seems like it's nonstop. I mean, it's like it gets to the point where, how do you process this stuff when it just one calamity after another, after another, after another? It just people get burned out. They emotionally, you can't constantly process that. It's sort of like being in a combat zone. You become numb to a certain extent. You kind of become emotionally desensitized to it. It's like, oh, another shooting. Oh, another horrible natural disaster. And it's sad to say that. It sounds cold and insensitive and cold-hearted and callous, but in some ways it's like, how can you constantly emotionally be responding to all of the tragedies that happen? And they just, again, almost with weeks and sometimes even days. So anyway, so that's all I wanted to, that's not really what I wanted to say, by the way, but that's kind of what came out in this video. So I'm going to go ahead and try to upload this tonight. And tomorrow is another end of the TSC challenge, week 7. So I'll be back hopefully in another few days with those results. So again, thanks so much for watching, and leave a comment, subscribe, or whatever, or it'd be nice to, I'll try to get back to you on your comments when I get a moment or two. I try to respond to most people. I'm not 100%, I have to admit, but if somebody leaves a pretty interesting comment, I try to respond. And so anyway, there you have it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.